Yo, yo, welcome back to another one, Crypto Squid Games. Yeah, man, it's a wild ride in this world, man. Um, let's start off with a prayer saying, Lord, bless us, protect us, guide us, direct our path, guide our steps. We thank you for another one, and we just pray that you continue to uplift us, We rebuke all evil in the name of Jesus, and we continue to move forward. Try to be the best versions of ourselves that we could be. With that being said, nothing you see on my channel, I condone, and nothing I say, if I was to mention it as, financial advice, we just, moseying on through, you know what I mean? But, yeah, man, we got another one, man. We want to watch this video, man. I'm going to link back to the original content creator on this, and, yeah, let's get at it, man. Let's watch it. Let's see what's going on here.
No way. $250 million. You know how much money that is.
Like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. Yeah, I'm ballin' like it's game time. I wake up, flex on down that check. No drip, yes. Tell me money.
It's the 19th of August, 2024, the day a group of young adults carried out one of the largest crypto heists ever recorded. 20-year-old Malone Lem, 18-year-old Virch Tal, 21-year-old Janiel Serrano, Danish Khan and Chen. These kids targeted a single Genesis creditor who had no idea they were about to lose a staggering $230 million worth of Bitcoin. But how did they pull it off? Were they expert hackers with advanced coding skills? Well, it was much simpler than it seems. These scammers did something very clever. They hacked into basic human nature. It all began with a phone call, a seemingly harmless contact from Google support, but this call wasn't from Google at all.
And you notice most of the people who doing this stuff, I just have to pause it for a minute, but most of the people doing a lot of this stuff, man, they're teenagers or they're young men in their late teens, early 20s. Most of every video, every article that I've read, everything that I've saw, they're young men. I haven't seen no older people, really doing this type stuff. And, that's significant because most older people, even if they don't have their stuff together, they have some type of, vision or stubbornness about where they're at in life. And they're content or comfortable with that. Even if they're striving towards being better, they're kind of setting their ways about how they want to go about doing things most of the time.
Using a spoof number, Virch et al., also known as Wiz, convinced the victim that their personal accounts had been compromised. With his false sense of urgency, he gained access to the victim's Gmail and iCloud, where he gathered key security information. Another call followed, this time from Janiel Serrano, aka Box, claiming to be a representative from Gemini, the crypto exchange the victim used. The victim was tricked into believing their account was under attack. Under pressure and convinced they needed to act fast, the victim reset their two-factor authentication settings, giving the thieves the access they needed to take control of the Gemini account, quickly setting fun.
And just to mention that this article, this is the same video of an article that I've read previously on one of my other videos. If you go back a few videos, you'll be able to see this is the same article, that I read on that video. So this is just the visionary version, basically, of that.
To a compromised wallet. The situation was spiraling, but the victim had no idea. When he was asked to use AnyDesk, a remote access software, it seemed like another step in securing their assets, but in reality, it was the final blow. As the victim unknowingly shared the screen, the private keys to their Bitcoin wallet were exposed, and in just a few clicks, the digital fortune was transferred into the hands of the thieves.
Oh, wow.
No way. No f***ing way.
I see it. It's on the blockchain. It's on the blockchain.
No way.
Oh my God! Oh my god!
In a private video, they recorded the live reactions to the successful transfer of 4,064 bitcoins valued at over $230 million at the time, clearly excited as they watched the millions flow into their wallets. How did they manage to pull off such a heist? How could someone with that much wealth be deceived so easily? And why will they record themselves in the act of committing such a massive crime? These are questions that might never be fully answered, but one thing was clear: the money was now in the hands of the criminals, and they knew their work wasn't done yet. Exactly 17 minutes after, they quickly set about laundering the money. To make it harder for authorities to track the stolen crypto, they split the Bitcoin into smaller amounts and transferred it across 15 different exchanges, a common tactic known as pill chains. The idea was to break the large transactions into smaller ones, making them harder to trace. Bitcoin was swapped for Litecoin, Litecoin was swapped for Ethereum, and Ethereum was swapped for Monero. The process took several days, with constant swapping between different currencies and exchanges, further obscuring the trail.
Head to the top right, the settings bar. Settings, no, not that. Like the swap settings. Set custom recipient. No, bro, what the hell? Do 998.
Alright, bro, you're so horrible.
You can't.
Bro, I'm clean busy, Caleb. Planning a heist.
Soon enough, all the stolen money was now clean money, ready to be spent, and the criminals didn't hold back. The day before the heist even took place, they were already planning on how to spend their fortune, sharing links with each other on Telegram of expensive luxury clothes they wanted to purchase, from brands like Louis Vuitton, Givenchy, and Philippe Plein. While most of the crew chose to play it safe, keeping a low profile and resisting the
And you see how they go about it. Once they take it, they go to swapping it and sending it through different places, try to throw people off the trail. But that's the thing about this crypto stuff. It's all recorded data. So regardless, even if law enforcement or whoever wanted to find you, all they need was patience to find you, because everything is linked. It's not like something happens with paper money on the streets or whatever, and it's just gone because they can't find it. You got to start from a real cold case. Everything is hot because on a hotline I see all your transactions regardless of how long of the trail you try to make with it. Everything follows the blockchain. Everything follows a chain of different codes that lead to the next. So it's ultimately going to lead to you and your IP server. Regardless, if you try to send it somewhere else, it's going to lead to wherever you send it. And they can trace that.
The temptation to splurge, one man couldn't help but stand out. His name, Malone Lamb.
Ballin', like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. Yeah, I'm ballin'.
Malone was based in LA, and the moment he got his hands on the money, he wasted no time diving headfirst into a luxurious lifestyle. Everything he had once watched wealthy people enjoy was now within his reach, ready to become his new reality. Nightclubs became his second home. Almost every night, he hit a club, spending ridiculous amounts of money on VIP sections and bottle services. His bar tabs were unbelievable, some nights costing $265,000, $300,000, and even more than $500,000 in a single night. If you were in one of those clubs, you couldn't miss him.
Hey, yo, Malone, you going real crazy like it's your birthday.
His name will be flashing on signs, and DJs will shout his name, giving him all the attention. He quickly became everyone's favorite, because whenever he was around, everyone got to drink for free. He threw around cash like it was nothing, and one time he even handed a DJ a massive 6-liter bottle of Golden Ace of Spades champagne, which could cost anywhere from $25,000 to $60,000. Another time he tipped a DJ $2,000 and had all the unopened bottles in the club sent straight to his house.
He even tipped me $2,000. When I tell you the amount of bottles he sent me that I took home, brand new, everything sealed, brand new.
But as fun as LA was, it still didn't feel like enough. He craved more attention, more luxury, more extravagance. So what did he do? He chartered a private jet to Miami. There he took his...
And that's, people's biggest problems when it comes to getting rich and wealthy. You want to splurge and spend all your money and become in the spotlight. And especially criminals. That's how they get caught, because you want to live a life that you never had. You want to be part of that. It's so it's like a dopamine high. You know, it's a rush, and you love the spotlight. Everybody love you. Everybody feeling you. Everybody want to be around you. Everybody like you. You know, and that's one of their biggest downfalls all the time. Every time you watch something, that's always the issue. Well, 99% of the time, that's the issue.
Spending to a whole new level. In Miami, Malone settled in a waterfront mansion. This place wasn't just any house. It was a $10.5 million estate with a $62,000 a month rental price tag. This mansion was massive, covering over 8,500 square feet, with 25-feet ceilings, 10 bedrooms, and a huge pool with a jacuzzi. It had 2 big front gates and a garage with a spacious driveway that was later filled with expensive supercars and luxury vehicles. Malone bought a black Mansory SF90, a white Lamborghini Urus, a fully kitted out white Mansory Lamborghini Urus with baby blue interior, a matte black Lamborghini Revuelto, the new Porsche 911 GT3 RS.
And cars always put you on the spot, because while you got everybody riding around here, working regular jobs, riding in regular normal cars, you come through in the cleanest, most expensivest car, you're gonna stand out every time. I mean, it's nice, don't get me wrong, but I like to get it the right way.
The new Ferrari SUV in black, 2 Mercedes-Benz G-Class, one in grey, one wrapped with matte black camo, a convertible matte black and pink Rolls-Royce Dawn, a blue BMW M4, another Lamborghini Revuelto in matte grey, a blue Lamborghini Urus, an all-white wide-body kit Lamborghini Aventador SVJ with Malone's name written on the bottom of the door, a matte black Ferrari 812 Superfast, another Lamborghini Aventador SVJ in blue, a pink Urus, which Malone originally bought as a gift for his ex-girlfriend to try to get her back, but got rejected again. A fully black carbon fiber McLaren 765 LT, a blue Konami Hardware.
Man, that's hilarious. You done bought that girl a pink Lamborghini Urus and still got rejected again. Come on, man. You did all that for this girl and she don't want you. You either had to been messed up, super lame, or something. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Oh, that's wild.
And many.
That tell you, money can't buy happiness. I don't care what they say. You know, it might put you in a lot of spots, but it can't do it. You ain't gonna buy that girl. She don't care nothing about it.
Many more cars. If you didn't realize it by now, Malone was always rolling with fashion. He rocked high-end designer pieces like Louis Vuitton and Givenchy. His style was expensive, with the most expensive piece of clothing being the Moncler Maya 70 by Paul Manger's jacket, which alone cost $50,000 or more. But after all this wasted money on clubs and cars, Malone finally decided to invest his money in timeless pieces that would hold the value over time, like these Cuban link chain bracelets filled with diamonds, a Rachel Millie covered in diamonds, and a diamond ring for each one of his fingers. One Rachel Millie wasn't enough, of course, so he bought multiple. Even his glasses had diamonds.
Yo, don't take no video.
Malone wasn't just a millionaire obsessed with himself. He had a generous side, often using his wealth to give back to others in need. He bought 5 Birkin bags and gave them away to random girls at the club. One of these lucky ladies was a model named Olivia Allen.
Guys, I can't even make this up when I say that I just woke up to a Birkin in my bedroom because a man gave it to me in the club last night. This is your sign to go clubbing.
Another lucky lady who got a Birkin bag was famous TikTok star Sky Bree.
Me and my 2 girlfriends walk over to the section, and this kid, I'm gonna refer to him as like a kid. I mean, he was definitely over the age of 18. He looked pretty young. He comes towards me and he's like, I got this for you.
She ended up saying she didn't like it.
It's beautiful, but to be honest, it's not really my style.
While Malone was busy making his name known, flaunting his wealth at every turn, he was also drawing the wrong kind of attention. His outrageous spending, paired with his desire to be noticed, made it easier for authorities and blockchain experts to track him down. Investigators, including prominent figures like Zach XPT, were closely watching the flow of the stolen funds, tracing each move as he splurged on cars, clubs.
There you go. They gonna track it and trace it regardless, though. Even though you splurging and living your best, I mean, I think that's the best way to do it. Because they gonna find you. If somebody reports it, they're gonna find you. And just like I say, I got hit up for like $400, you know, and it hurt me bad. You know, it hurt me bad to my soul. I actually don't trust crypto as much as I used to, and that's one of the reasons why I made this channel. You know, if I knew about Zach XBT or whatever his name is, I would have definitely contacted them before I destroyed my wallet and threw away my, you know, private keys and stuff like that, and just kind of dropped it, you know.
And luxury items. The more he spent, the more obvious it became that his newfound fortune was linked to the heist, and soon enough, the walls started closing in. Malone thought he was untouchable, but behind the scenes, law enforcement and experts like Zach XPT were already connecting the dots. Through his flashy spending, investigators tracked large transactions linked to the stolen Bitcoin, using blockchain analysis to map out the movement of funds. What's more, both Box and Wiz slipped up during the process of laundering the funds. On several occasions, they accidentally leaked the stolen funds with their personal assets. Wiz, for example, also leaked his full name during a screen recording, while Box reused deposit addresses, making it easier to trace the funds back to them. These mistakes, combined with recorded conversations and digital footprints, painted a clear picture of the criminals' activities. By mid-September 2024, the FBI and other authorities had gathered enough evidence to act. On the 19th of September, federal agents raided Malone's Miami mansion, where he was arrested, surrounded by all the luxuries he had bought with a stolen fortune.
We hear boom, and you know, we thought that was shooting in the neighborhood, and we saw a lot of police. This was something that never.
And it's always gonna be those neighbors that's watching, the neighbors, and they waiting to see, well, where this person come from? How they get that? What they doing? You know, where they come from? And they gonna be watching and waiting and seeing if something go down, because that they always gonna want to have a story to tell, because they've been around up for years. They ain't see nothing like that happen. I mean, they know it's a lot of people that's making money off TikTok and different stuff like that, but yeah, they watching and waiting so they can have a story to tell.
Never happened in this neighborhood. Most of the time was a lot of party. It was party because I can hear from my house the music.
It was a stark contrast. Malone, who had lived like a king for just a short while, was now being led away in handcuffs. Authorities were able to freeze over $9 million in stolen funds, with $500,000 already returned to the victim. However, a significant portion of the stolen money remains in cryptocurrency wallets. At the time of making this video, $21 million linked to Box is still sitting in one wallet, while Vircha Tao, also known as Wiz, has around $39 million tied up to his account. Additionally, $4 million of Malone's funds remain untouched in another wallet. But what happened to everything else he bought? The cars, the clubs, the private jets, and all the flashy stuff. See, when a criminal buys luxury items, like cars, with stolen money and later gets arrested, the government steps in and seizes those assets through a process called asset forfeiture. This allows law enforcement to take control of anything purchased with illegally obtained funds, such as cars, houses, or expensive jewelry. Once these assets are seized, they are usually...
And that's the thing with the government. Once they come in, the victim might not even get it back. The government taking all of it. You see what I'm saying? That's just the way they operate. You know, this is our piece of the pie for us having to come out and do this crazy stuff. You know, they ain't playing fair with the victim either. We got to have that, you know, because that was obtained illegally.
Put up for auction. In many cases, dealerships or buyers, including the same dealer who originally sold the cars, can purchase them again, often at a lower price than they were initially sold for. The money made from these auctions then is used in a couple of ways. A portion of it will go toward compensating the victims of the crime, helping to recover some of the stolen funds, while another portion could be used to cover the cost of the investigation and legal proceedings. If the victim is lucky, he can get 50 to 65% back after the auction and administrative fees, the cut the investigators will get. get. However, in Malone's case, 3 of the cars he purchased, the mandatory Lamborghini Urus, the Lamborghini Revuelto, and the Porsche 911 GT3 RS, were later transported to LA following his arrest. These cars were spotted by EFF Spot, a popular YouTuber who is known for his rare and expensive car spotting videos. In this particular video, both the Revuelto and the Porsche appeared with noticeable damage. The Revuelto had significant front-end damage, while the Porsche was dented in the rear, suggesting that the Revuelto had likely rear-ended the Porsche. This kind of damage will undoubtedly decrease the value of these cars when they go to auction, significantly reducing the amount the victim could recover. The same process will apply to the clothes, jewelry, watches, and designer glasses that Malone purchased. These luxury items are likely to be seized by authorities and auctioned off as part of the asset recovery process. High-end watches, such as his Richard Mille pieces, are particularly valuable and could bring in significant amounts at auction. While designer clothes typically depreciate in value, Malone's expensive pieces will still hold enough worth to help recover the funds for the victim. As for the wild spending in clubs, that money is pretty much gone. When you blow $500,000 in a single night on bottle services and VIP sections, the clubs aren't held responsible for giving it back, especially if they had no clue the money was stolen. Same goes for the private jets. Those jet companies provided a legitimate service, so the money Malone spent on his flights is long gone. In conclusion, while most of the big ticket items can be seized and auctioned, much of what Malone spent on services, like clubs and private jets, is lost for good. This story isn't just about a major heist or the luxurious lifestyle Malone enjoyed for a brief moment. It's a lesson in greed, in dangers of showing off wealth that wasn't earned, and how quickly everything can come crashing down. Despite all the money spent, the nights out, and the flashy purchases, Malone's dream life was built on stolen funds, and it was only a matter of time before it fell apart. Authorities might recover some of the stolen money, but the damage done to the victim and the recklessness of Malone's spending spree are a reminder of how easily things can slip away. For Malone and his friends, what started as a wild ride of lavishness ended in arrests and their names tied to one of the biggest crypto crimes in history. In the end, this heist shows us that no matter how clever the crime or how big the payout, the law always catches up, and the price they paid was far greater than the short-lived luxury they enjoyed.
Yeah, I'm gonna end it right there. But just to say, man, you know, this is another story inside of the crypto squid game. And it's only gonna get worse. You know, this is more on a technical level. This is not necessarily you being physically kidnapped and having, you know, limbs severed or things of that nature. This is more so on you keeping your private information private, not answering calls that's not saved in your phone. Because I don't ever answer calls if it ain't saved in my phone. I don't know who this is calling me. You know, your number is not programmed in my phone to be someone who I know, and I'm not answering it at all. You know, I'm not answering spam emails. If I'm not expecting you to email me, then I'm not answering that email. Things like that, you know, just taking precautions and being cautious about, you know, certain things that you give your time and attention to. You know, these are kids that swindled $230 million and split it 5 ways. That's about $49 million a piece, you know. So he had money to just blow. He didn't earn it, so he didn't know what to do with it besides spend it, you know, and live his best little life. He already young. You looking at the picture right here, you thinking in your mind, where's his parents, you know? And I don't know, he looks of Asian descent, you know. Be like, maybe he's from here, or, you know, his parents, maybe they got a portion of it. You never know. Like, what was his motives, you know, besides necessarily splurging. It's just it's sad, you know, that this is what the world coming through. And I'm gonna just end it right there, man. Y'all be blessed, you know, out there, and y'all have a good one. Peace.